A person who saves one life saves the world. Kill the child! Save many. Deliver Us was written and directed by Leroy Kuntz, who also stars as father Daniel Fox, and this was co-directed by crew Enos. He's dead. Sorry. Longtime Futurama fans are going to be dying laughing in the comments, and everybody else is going to be mystifyingly confused and thinking there's something wrong with this guy. And yes, there is something wrong with me. This is also written by, that's gotta be Kane! That's gotta be Kane! Kuntz. Good old Vince McMahon selling the monster Kane after giving him Dr. Isaac Yankem and the fake Diesel gimmicks, and then wondering why it took Kane to make him realize that Glenn Jacobs was actually meant for professional wrestling. If you are a non-wrestling fan, you have no fucking idea what that means. So yes, Father Daniel Fox, played by Leroy Kuntz. By the way, that's K-U-N-Z. Just in case YouTube thinks that I'm saying a naughty word that they don't want said on their platform. So yeah, Leroy, writer, director, star, and he's having a crisis of faith, shall we say. He wants to be a good Christian, not a bad priest. There's a certain incident that happened that he refers to that has led him to want to basically leave the priesthood behind and go with his main squeeze, Laura, who's played by Jeanne Kimmel. That's Jaune. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm going to say right now, she is a gorgeous woman. I have to see more stuff that she's in. And they're living in Russia. There's St. Petersburg, there's Estonia, there's a few locations they go to. And they want to have a family. They want to start a family. She's like, hey, Canada would be a good place to raise them, like Edmonton, I guess, if you like winters, but nevertheless. So the father is called into battle to discover the meaning and the, what the hell happened with Sister Yulia, played by Maria Verratti, who is also insanely gorgeous. My God, there's something in the Italian water. She ends up being the, recipient of what she claims is immaculate conception. She is bleeding, she has stigmata, and she ends up pregnant with twins, and it turns out there's a prophecy that tells of one good twin, one evil twin. And basically, if things aren't in balance, the evil twin could override and bring about the apocalypse, and they must solve this mystery before they are totally goddamn history. Deliver us tales, woohoo. So yes, we have possible immaculate conception, demon children, and religious overtones. And also a group called the Vox Dei, or Die. It's V-O-X-D-E-I. Vox Deity is just what I could end up calling it. And also more religious imagery and the possibility of, would you sacrifice one child to save the world? Could you possibly do that? Are children inherently evil? Generally, yes, but let's get back to the movie. So yeah, it's available on Amazon for between $7 and $8, depending on the tax, tax amounts in your particular state or region or country or alternate universe. And if you are getting this in an alternate universe, hi, I hope things are over there. So nevertheless, we basically have Father Fox, who is trying to figure out what the hell's going on while trying to be there for his main squeeze, Laura, and also utilizing his faith, but then getting his faith tested. There's Cardinal Russo, Alexander Siddig, who, is at this particular convent and says, well, there are things going on here, and they basically have to solve what's going on. And then from there, things just dissolve into complete madness. Now, I will say, as far as a few positives, the opener and the setup is actually pretty good. The opening in particular is actually really well done with some great makeup effects and some great, just tension and horror over them. Like what you see, what you don't see equally work out to, holy shit, this is what we're going with. And the setup's fine. And then about 25 to 30 minutes in, it just suddenly flips a switch and says, okay, we're going to go this direction, and then we're going to go over to this location, and then we're going to go in a few different directions. We're going to try to be focused, but simultaneously unfocused, because we're trying to go here, but bring it back here. And unfortunately, for all the positives, and the cinematography, despite a few dark scenes I couldn't necessarily see what the hell was going on, it was well shot, well framed. actually very, very well done as far as, cinematography. And anytime you get a writer, director, and star being the same person, it could go one of two ways. It could be out of necessity. It could be because they feel they're the best person to play it. It could be an ego trip. It's not the latter. It's not an ego trip. It's not that. I will say that as far as a writer, director, and star, Leroy, yes, Leroy, I could go with that old meme. He actually proves himself to be a decent writer, director, and star. He's not a bad actor at all. In fact, quite a few of the performances, even as things go more off the rails, aren't that bad. It's just the character motivations that I question, and the fact that really after we get that setup and we go in a particular direction, 25, 30 minutes in, as I mentioned, it dissolves. And it dissolves at first a little bit slowly and then rapidly erodes to where we get to the point in the third act where everything, not even a bonkers type, everything just gets to where, oh, really? Oh, really? I mean, we're going that direction? It's a simple story at the end of the day. And it's definitely not one of the worst things I've seen this year. It's sort of disappointing, though, because after the opening minutes, I just felt like it didn't capitalize on that stuff enough. That's really how I feel. Good performances for the story, even if a lot of it is familiar, and, characters just end up getting offed just because they're like, oh shit, we need to get to this point, and damn it, we've done all this setup, we need to do that. And also the characters do some monumentally stupid shit just to get to a certain point. And yeah, that's kind of horror movie 101. It doesn't end up ultimately clicking. Again, decent performances, good cinematography, two gorgeous women and the main leads there. I mean, absolutely stunning, captivating on screen. It is what it is. It's certainly not the worst horror movie I've seen. It has potential, but it squanders that potential, in my opinion. It's available on Amazon for a few bucks if you want to check it out. I am going to get into spoilers. Spoilers really won't take all that long, but I just wanted to warn you right there. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay, so in the opener, people get beheaded, skinned, and as part of a prophecy, their skin is taken off to make this book. It's like the Necronomicon. Necronomicon. Yeah, I had to do that. Maybe I didn't have to, but I did anyway. And from there, it turns out that there's ink and tattoo stuff on these particular people that tells of the prophecy. In accordance with the prophecy, in case my best friend happens to be watching this, he will die laughing and nobody else will get it because it's an inside joke that he created. That being said, Cardinal Russo has this stuff. No, not Swerve Bro Russo. We're not going with that. He discovers that, holy shit, this stuff's really, really happening and we're really, really fucking. We got to make a decision and end this evil quickly. And there's also his character, Father Saul, who ends up, he ends up only having one, he only has one eye for whatever reason. He turns out to be the evil guy. The Cardinal kind of goes a little bit insane. About 25 minutes in, there's this thing where they're going to get rid of the kids, and then there's this cult that's there. And then Father Russo, the sister, and Father Fox escape. And then she has the twins on a train. One of the twins drives a guy insane. Oh, what a thrill. And he puts his his head through the window, and great St. Petersburg Falls of Fire. That really was stretching it right there. I'm sorry. So one of the kids drives the kid insane, or drives the adults insane. Either the crying kid or the one that doesn't say anything and just use psychic spooky powers. Laura also ends up helping them out because they need a place to hide. There's a company plot of land that her grandfather and father have used, and they end up hiding there. And a bit of a romance develops between Father Fox and Sister Yulia, which, can you blame him for being attracted to Maria? My God. Even though Laura, in her own right, absolutely gorgeous, or equally gorgeous, but it's just, I don't blame him necessarily there. Father Saul ends up stalking them. Eventually, he gets to their house, Laura and Fox's house. And I'm just saying Father Fox, even though it's Daniel Fox, Father Fox just sounds better. It's like Father Foxer. He ends up killing the help. All this weird shit's going on while the Cardinal and the sister are back at the house. There's stuff going on where the father is, or the cardinal is trying to hunt. There's a deer that gets freed at one point and then goes back to his residence, says, "I'm home, dear." Now that everybody shut that off. Yeah, it ends up just getting to where images just happen and stuff just happens and jump scares and everything. And also, there are paintings that one of Laura's family members ended up doing that tell the story like they predicted the future. They can see into the future. And then there's talk of, okay, you need to kill one particular child to save the world. Which child do you choose? Which one's the evil one? And is the evil one actually tricking you into thinking that the other one's evil? Yeah, there's a lot of this talk of, religious stuff and people getting voices in their heads, from the cardinal to Father Saul to Father Fox. And also the sister's just trying to protect her children because she had them, immaculate conception or not. Then there's a point where Laura and Father Fox are going to escape. They go to her place of business, her family's place of business, where people are all fucked because a plague's going on and all evil, evil, evil. Laura ends up getting shot, so yeah, that's totally goddamn fucked, and they can't have a kid now. And then wolves devour Cardinal Russo because he stumbles into a bear trap and won't do the bidding of this evil person over here, apparently. You kill the child and we'll save you. Oh, you don't want to? The wolfies will get you. And the wolfies get him. Then a little bit later, Father Fox is pissed after Laura's death, gets the body, Russo's body, away from there. Father Saul shows up at the cabin in the woods area, ends up knocking out the sister, and then is going to kill the kids, or one of the kids, hearing the voices, and then Father Fox shows up, and ends up stabbing him in his good eye. And then the sister ends up shooting. And Father Saul is dead. Then Father Fox goes insane because he sees all these paintings and goes absolutely goddamn mad with whatever. And decides, I'm going to hunt them down like I'm, Jack Nicholson from The Shining. And then these cops show up and these cops get dispatched. And this is all happening in the last 15 minutes. And they go to this cliff. He shoves her down, gets the evil child, and is going to throw the child down while this eclipse is happening, and then he gets shot. So Father Fox is dead, and the sister is all on her own, except Father Fox is not dead. He's fine. He's totally goddamn fine. And then we just go... we just go to where they're together, and they're meant to be together, and Laura's dead and all this stuff, and they may bring about the apocalypse, but at least they're able to fuck in the shower. There are good ideas here. Poor execution at the end of the day, even with the great opener and stuff like that. It didn't ultimately click for me. It did not. And it dissolved to where I got more annoyed than anything else. And I don't mind the lack of explanation or just the stuff happening, but that only helps if you have interesting characters and you have interesting motivations, and you really don't. People just kind of do shit, and it's like they had a vision at first and then it just splintered. And I'm not talking about the leader and the, caretaker of the Ninja Turtles. It gets an F, I'm sorry. I'm not saying Leroy shouldn't get more opportunity. He should. I mean, because he showed potential as a filmmaker, it just didn't work. Good parts to it don't offset the fact that this movie dissolved quickly and eroded and got to where it was just so basic and then bonkers at the same time. Didn't click. So yeah, F. Sorry. Watch it for yourselves. Maybe you'll feel differently. Let's see what else everybody on the crew and cast can do in the future. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rethlin. I'll see you soon.